I rarely have the chance to play games. I just don't really have that much time to play games. Oh right, speaking of games, did you know that someone 3D printed a Nintendo Switch 2? Like, they had the blueprints of it or something. Like, there was a blueprint leak or something. So people have the design of the Nintendo Switch 2, and I took one look at it. Like, I saw that video somewhere on YouTube, and I think it was also on Twitter, as in, like, you know, people were revealing the design of the Nintendo Switch 2. Apparently the Switch 2 is 8 inches. It is bigger than the first Switch. It is closer to size with the what do you call it, the Steam Deck. And honestly, I remember I told you guys that I said I would probably want to get the Switch 2. I take that back, because I have touched a Switch 1 before, and I really like the size of the controllers, like the Joy-Cons on the Switch 1. I don't think I would like holding the Switch 2, because the Joy-Cons look a little bigger. Like, the design of the Switch 2 in general is just larger, and I have really small hands. I don't know if you guys probably couldn't tell, like, during my hand cam stream, but I have really small hands. I tried to learn how to play piano at some point in my life, and if you're a pianist, I don't know if you know what an octave is. So it's basically you have to stretch your fingers. Let's say the note C, right? So it's like that's an octave. And as a pianist, a lot of songs have that octave thing going on, and you have to be able to reach the octave with one hand. I cannot reach an octave, and I have touched a grand piano before. I cannot freaking even touch the second note. Like, you're supposed to hold one with your thumb and the other one with your pinky. I cannot stretch my fingers far enough to actually, like, reach an octave. And it doesn't matter how much practice I get or how much I try to stretch my hands, I can only barely reach the corner of like, I can reach the corners of the notes using, like, my thumb and my pinky, and there is only a certain position where I can force my hand into touching the keys. So I had a workaround for a bit, which is actually I grew out the nail of my thumb so that I could reach the higher note with my pinky and use my fingernail to tap on the thumb. But then, at some point, I broke my nail, and because of the wear and tear on one side of the nail, I actually broke it in a really bad way. So my freaking thumb had, like, half the nail ripped off. Because I was trying to play, like, a passage that was pretty fast, and then my fingernail got caught in between, like, the keys. And then it just broke off, and I was like, shit, I shouldn't do this anymore because this is dangerous as fuck, you know? I just decided, okay, you know what, I'm just gonna quit. I'm not bad. I'm not super bad at playing the piano though, but because of this, like, debuff that I have, I kind of just I just wasn't able to go very far. But yeah, I'll give you guys a little bit of Zephy lore. I used to want to learn a lot of instruments because those instruments were accessible back in my school. So the teachers were actually super nice. They allowed us to go and, like, practice or, you know, explore, play with the instruments as long as they were there, or, you know, they will just unlock the music room for us to, you know, try out the instruments. We just had to be really careful with them because if anything broke, we would have to replace them, you know. So I was allowed to, like, try a lot of instruments. Okay, you guys want to know something funny? I know how to play the accordion. I actually know how to play the accordion, but obviously, it is pretty much impossible to find an accordion outside of a school setting. So after I graduated, I couldn't get access to an accordion anymore. But yeah, I know how to play an accordion. So not the type with buttons on both sides, but the type with buttons on one side and a keyboard on the other side. I do have a problem though. The accordion's really large and I actually have problems pumping it because it is pretty heavy. So I actually had like a weird workaround. I had to actually clip one side of the accordion, like, you know, zigzaggy. You know, the air pump thing on the left hand? I actually had to clip one side and only open and close it a certain way, because if I tried to like actually just pull the entire thing, it would just drop because I just didn't have the strength to hold it up. I'm a really, yeah. Basically any instrument that requires size is hard for a small girl. Yeah. I also tried to play the bass at some point in my life, and the fretboard was just so hard for me to hold down. No matter how strong I got my hands, I just had a lot of trouble with the fretboard. The only bass that I could play is a bass with only 4 strings. I could not hold a 5-string bass. So, you know, that didn't turn out very well for me. At some point, I could play the bass parts of that one song in like K-On! With the fancy bass line and stuff. I could actually play that, and then because I kind of gave up at some point. I still have a bass, by the way. It's, you know, I haven't opened it in a really long time, and the casing, because I had a soft case, my cats have scratched it really badly, but the bass is still there. I don't know what to do with it because I don't really play anymore. Plus, because of like health problems and stuff, it's actually really difficult for me to be able to play a musical instrument anymore. So yeah, so I just kind of had to give it up at some point in my life.